Fabulous. Okay, hi guys. Thank you for being on. Just to say on the, just started to record this as well. If you're on as a live participant, you won't be seen in the recording, so don't worry. But just to say on the recording, if you can grab a strap, that would be really handy. I haven't actually planned anything to do, but if you know my classes, then you'll know having a strap is usually helpful. If you don't have a strap, then grab a belt or a dressing gown tie or a towel or anything that you can lasso a foot with is fine. So I'm just going to give you 30 seconds. Just go and run and grab a strap. Go. Okay, cool. I hope you're back. Okay, so also thank you for the asking to have some live stream and recorded videos done. It's also been really helpful for me while I'm kind of having a much quieter day to kind of give me some structure and purpose personally as well. And thank you for being on and being willing to get to your mat in such a turbulent, uncertain time. Thank you for those that are also making donations for the sessions as well. It's hugely greatly appreciated. I think there's been as much demand for yoga for those of you that have a kind of regular yoga practice, but also a demand for a bit more of a mindfulness and a bit more of a meditative practice. I don't think I need to mention the sort of level of angst and just crazy energy that is around at the minute. So today's session will be a bit more of a yin style stretch session and mindfulness kind of orientated with a little bit of a meditation that I'll hold a bit longer at the end, so you can switch me off whenever you want to. You're willing to, you are free to go whenever you wish. So yeah, I just hope that you are staying sane and staying grounded, and I really appreciate that there is so much just uncertainty, I think, around at the minute globally. You know, no one is sure what's going on. This is a new unknown kind of realm for everybody, which can feel really unsettling. But it will pass. We have to just keep reminding ourselves that this isn't going to be forever. This isn't all of this is not in our control. You know, we only can control our actions and our reactions. And actually, when you strip back actions and reactions, everything actually comes down to coming from a place of love or from fear. And I think at the minute that's a really clear example of that going on. People either acting from a place of fear or from a place of love. And I think lots of us are really wrapped up in the fear side of it at the minute, noticing all the panic and all the angst and all the dread and the uncertainty, etc. But actually, there is an abundance of love around as well that I think we have to recognize. You know, communities are hugely pulling together, and the generosity around that I'm seeing on a daily basis from people on social media is really overwhelming. And I mentioned on yesterday's video that if you are stuck at home and isolated, then use this time, you know, to get the lie-in that you've wanted to for weeks, and to get the cupboards cleaned that you've been meaning to do for so long, and start writing that book that you've been meaning to do forever, and have time with your spouse that you never get usually when we're rushing around mindlessly in our sort of day-to-day week. So honor the time, that the silver linings that this can offer us as well. It's making us all be a little bit more creative, hence we've now all set up Zoom on our devices, and doing creative things, you know. So there's lots of silver linings in this too, so hopefully we can stay stuck with those. So come to your mats. We'll start just stretching our bodies. Okay, so either seated cross-legged or however you're comfortable to be sat. I'll shuffle back so that we can hopefully see me. I'll just keep checking. My eyesight is horrendously bad, but I'll just keep checking occasionally that we are still recording. So just bring your hands to your legs, or if you can lie down for this first bit if you want to. We're just going to connect in with your breath. So maybe closing your eyes, or just find a focus point to gaze onto. So just take a big full round of breaths to start with. A nice big full inhale, and then just let that go. Then make your next breath a little bit slower. Again, just let it go, but a little bit slower. And then take the next couple of breaths to be a little bit slower still. Keep the breaths coming through your nose. So again, if we were part of it yesterday, I talked a little bit about nasal breathing being much more softer or much more beneficial for your nervous system to rebalance. Easier with the diaphragm, so you start your belly move with your breath. That's going to help bring us back into that more rest and digest side, just connecting into a deeper feeling of your breath. See if you can control your exhalation to be a little bit slower or a little bit longer than your inhale. Let's take a few rounds of that, so your exhale is longer than your inhale. And just notice how that makes you feel. Start to notice that pause or that moment of transition between your inhale and your exhale. There's not a holding of the breath, but just a moment of transition, a moment of kind of lingering between the inhale and exhale. And just allow yourself to indulge in that transition. Again, it's not a holding of the breath, just a moment of just floating between the two. So now that you have maybe just slowed your energy down a little bit, just observe yourself, observe your physical states, noticing any tensions in the body that maybe you want to take care of or let go of in this practice this morning. Particularly pay attention to any tension that's around your neck or your jaw or your forehead. See if you can consciously soften into that now. Maybe give your face a little stretch out, stretch your mouth wide. Just let the face feel a little bit floppier, a little bit softer. And then without attaching any story to it or any judgment to it, just observe how you're feeling emotionally. Again, maybe noticing those tensions that you want to take care of or let go of in the practice. So as much busyness that may be in the mind, just see if you can just give yourself a little bit of permission just to put that aside for now. We can pick it up again afterwards, but just honor yourself with a bit of time for you and what your body needs on a physical or emotional sense. So if you're seated, I'm going to just invite you to come down onto your backs so that we're lying down, and just have that strap kind of in reach of you when you lie down. So come onto your back and just have your knees bent so your feet are on the floor. So just heel toe your feet as wide as your mat is, and then just let your knees just rest in towards each other. So the feet are wide and the knees drop in. So bring your hands onto the lower belly, just somewhere between the hip bones and pubic bones. So right down in the lower part of the torso. Just lengthen the back of the neck into the floor a little further. Just make sure the shoulders feel heavy and wide. Again, just come back to that feeling of your breath, with your exhalation being slightly longer, slightly slower than your inhale. The breath steady through the nose. From here, just bring the arms open to a cactus position. So your elbows are going to come out in line with the shoulders, and then just fold the forearms back to the floor. So back of the hands are almost to the ground. If this feels a little restricted in the shoulders, then just take the arms out straighter. It's completely fine. So from here, just turning the head from one side to the other. And as you're rotating the head, so as your head turns towards your right side, just press that left arm further to the floor, and vice versa. When you're about even, just bring the head back to center. Separate the knees apart from each other. Keep the feet wide. Just give the knees a rock from one side to the other. So just started to rotate the top of the spine in your neck when we were rotating the head, and now we're just rotating that lower back and hips. I always get a bit of a click in my back on this one, so just see how it's feeling in your spine. So as your knees are dropping down to the side, have a sense of them also reaching away from you. So they flop over towards the right, and then feel your knees reach away from your body. Come back through the center, drop both knees over to the left, and then reach the knees away from the body. Again, when you're about even, just holding center. Drop both knees all the way down to the right, and then just stack the left knee on top of the right one. So just coming into a twist. Okay, this is going to be a little bit more gentle if your knees are further away from you. And this is going to be a little bit more towards your mid-back, or feel a little bit deeper if you tuck the knees around towards your torso a bit further. From here, just place your right palm on the upper side of the leg, upper side of your legs. And then think about your left shoulder really trying to root towards the floor. Okay, if it's feeling okay with your neck, then turn your head towards the left, so the head's going in the opposite direction to your knees. So we get that spiral running right through the spine. Take that deeper breath again, so you feel it moving into your lower belly, the ribs and the back. So if you've been in my classes recently, or you did yesterday's video, I talked a little bit about that full intra-abdominal pressure from your breath, IAP breath. So try to connect back in with that. We breathe into that lower belly, the side ribs and the back ribs all move with your breath. On your following exhale, bring the knees back through the center, and then just change sides with that. So bring the knees over to the left. Again, they can be far away from you or tuck them right towards you, wherever feels best for your body. Use the left hand to anchor that top leg down. And then as you exhale, think about the right shoulder coming down to the floor, the shoulder blade coming down your back a little further. And if it's okay with the neck, then rotate the head towards the right. Feel that full breath flushing through the body. There's no restriction with the breath or tightness. Notice if any tension has crept back into your forehead or your jaw. Let it go. So again, as you next exhale, bring the knees back through to the center again. And just leave the feet about a hip's distance apart. You're going to bring just your right knee in towards your chest with the hands lacing around that shin. So if you have any lower back injuries or lower back tricky stuff kind of going on, then keep this left foot on the ground, knee bent. If it's still feeling okay with your back, then lengthen that left leg away from you flat if it helps. So taking that big full breath, take a big breath in. As you exhale, think about this right thigh coming closer towards your rib cage as you consciously push out through your extended left heel if it is out straight. Again, take a big breath in. And as you exhale, bring the thigh towards the body as you push out through that left heel. Flex the left foot if your leg's out straight, so the toes are flexing up towards the ceiling. From here, just start to roll your right ankle. Get as much movement through your toes and the sole of the foot as you can. So then change the direction, rolling it the other way. Good. Just keeping the foot lightly flexed. Release the shin and take your hands around the back of the thigh. You're lengthening the heel towards the ceiling. The leg doesn't have to go straight. For now, we're just finding a nice lengthening through the leg rather than a deep stretch. So keep the hands around the back of the thigh. If you're struggling to reach, then you can use your strap here already if you want to. We will bring the strap in later. So just holding here, just have a sense of the heel lengthening towards the ceiling. So again, the foot is flexed, the big toe is curling back towards you. And think about your tailbone pressing down into the floor. So you're creating more length between the heel and the sit bone. As you inhale, just try and press your leg into the hands as strongly as you can. So you create as much resistance. So the leg is pushing into your hands and the hands are pulling it back towards the body. So they meet in the middle with as much tension as you can. As you exhale, keep hold of the leg, but just relax the tension. So you'll feel the thigh just soften towards you slightly. Take twice more of that breath. So your inhale pushes the leg into your hands and the hands into your leg. And exhale, release the tension. Again, inhale, press the leg into your hands, hands into your leg. And exhale, release the tension. Okay, bend your left leg again if that one was out straight. From here, we're just going to bend the right knee and place the ankle onto the left thigh. So come into figure of four for those of you that are familiar with that. Use your right palm on the right inner thigh to have a sense of the inner thigh pushing upwards and away from you. So we just want to open the, lengthen the tissue in the fold of the hip here. So press palm into that leg, lift the muscle up and away from you. Just right hand on right leg. Come back to that feeling of your breath, being nice and full and grounded. You can just take the hands away from the legs, just rocking that same connection, just going from one side to the other. You can make this big or as small as you want to. So again, if you have any lower back tricky stuff going on at the minute, then just take the rock little nice and small rocking. If you want to make it nice and big, you take the big toe to the floor and then the knee to the floor. The last couple of rocks going side to side. And then holding center, thread your hands through the gap so you pull in your left thigh towards you. So if your right elbow meets the inner thigh here, use the elbow to push the knee away from you as you pull the shin towards you. Hopefully feeling this around the right glutes, that kind of right side of your butt or into your hip. Have a sense of your tailbone pressing down, just lengthen the back of your neck and try to soften the shoulders a little bit to the floor. Again, check in with any gripping around your forehead or your jaw. Check that you're still breathing. Take your last full round of breath. And then just place that left foot back to the ground, release hold of the thigh. Untangle the legs and give the knees a little rock from one side to the other. Before we do the other side, we're just going to take a quad stretch for this right leg as well. So take the feet as wide as the mat again, like we had at the start. Drop both knees over towards the left. So you keep the feet wide, just drop the knees down to the left. Your right hand is going to take hold of the right ankle and then tuck the foot around towards you a little bit further. So we did this on yesterday's video as well, if you did that one. So your heel is nice and close towards the buttock. Have a sense of your right knee reaching forwards away from you and then down towards the mat. So you really lengthen across the top of this right thigh, maybe into the hip flexor as well. Each time you exhale, think about slightly tucking the tailbone, so your lower back is trying to nudge towards the floor as you keep that knee reaching away. Big full breaths. On your next exhale, bring the knees back to the center. You can stretch that knee out a little bit if we need to. So we'll just switch sides. So bring your left knee in towards your body, hands around that shin. And again, either this right leg stays bent, if we're looking after our back, or you lengthen the leg away from you. Taking a couple of big full breaths here. So take a big full inhale. As you exhale, bring the thigh closer towards your rib cage as you push out through the right heel if that leg is extended. Again, take a big breath in. Exhale, deepen into it. From here, just rolling the left foot around. Try and get as much movement through the toes and through the sole of the foot as you can create. Changing the direction. And then flexing that foot. Take the hands around the back of the thigh. Maybe just find that lengthening for the leg rather than the deep stretch here. So keep a little bend in the knee if that's helpful. Flex the foot so the heel pushes up and the toe curls back towards you. Just let the circulation flush through for a couple of breaths. And then we bring in that tense and release for the leg. So as you inhale, you're going to press the leg into your hands and the hands into the leg as much as we can. As you exhale, let the leg relax back towards you. Take 2 more breaths the same. Big inhale as you push the leg into your hands, the hands into the leg. And exhale, let it relax towards you. Okay, last one. Inhale, press them together. And exhale, relax it. Good. From here, we find that figure of 4. So rebend your right leg if you had it out straight. And then your ankle rests onto the right thigh. To start with, we use the left palm to lift the left inner thigh up and push it away from you, just so you lengthen the tissue of the fold of that hip. So not necessarily a deep stretch feeling, just creating a little bit of space in the hip. Feel that breath come right down into that lower part of the abdomen. Release hold of the leg and then just rocking side to side. Again, you can make this as big or as small as feel good for your back. Okay, nice and small, or we take the knee down to the foot down. Last couple of rocks. And then holding center, thread your hands through the gap to pull in your right thigh. So your left elbow might meet the inner thigh of that left leg. If it does, then use it to push the knee away from you as you pull this ankle towards you. Keep the breath moving. Each time you exhale, so you can lengthen or soften your spine a little bit closer to the floor. So shoulders soften back, the tailbone draws down. As you next exhale, release the feet back to the ground. And we just find this quad stretch for the left leg. So both feet come as wide as your mat is. Give the knees a little rock side to side first if that feels good to you. Drop both knees down towards the right. So keep the feet wide, just both knees drop down to the right. Your left hand is going to grab the left ankle and tuck the foot around behind you, so heel towards the buttock. If this is pinching in your knees at all, then just leave this one out. We don't want this to feel into the knees. Otherwise, you can try bringing the heel closer towards your body. If the heel is out, it's going to put more pressure on the fold of the knee. So try tucking it in. If it's still hurting, miss this one out. Reach your knee forwards and down towards the floor. Then as you're exhaling, think slightly tucking the tailbone is just a little nudge of the body, just to bring the lower back towards the floor, just to have you squeeze into that stretch a little bit deeper. When you are in, it might feel pretty spicy. Take a deeper breath, see if you can soften the feeling of it. Again, I will keep reminding you through this practice just to check in with that feeling of tension that might be trying to creep in around your jaw or your forehead or your mind. Soften it away and take a big full breath where you are. Okay, gently bring the knees back to the center. Again, just give that knee a stretch out if you need to. Hug both knees in towards your body. So the hands can either hold around the shins or the arms around the knees, and just rock gently side to side, like you're massaging your spine into the floor. Stay where you are. I'm just going to check the screen. I think we had a little message pop up. We're still recording. Okay, perfect. Okay, so from here, actually going to bring you up first. So either take a roll to one side and press yourself up, or take a gentle rock through to seated, and we'll come back for the strap sequence later. So come straight over into an all fours position, so onto hands and knees, however feels best together. We're going to take just a few rounds of a cat-cow to get your back moving. So as you inhale, lift the tailbone towards the ceiling, let that roll through to lift the chest and the head. And as you exhale, pull the belly in so the tailbone tucks under, you round through the spine, really push the floor away so your back opens out. Again, inhale, lift the tailbone up, roll through to lift the chest. And as you exhale, tuck the tailbone, roll through so you tuck the chin. Take that again, inhale, lift tailbone, lift chest, let the belly expand, the ribs expand. Exhale, pull the belly in so you roll through to open the back, holding on this cat stretch this time. Feel the breath move physically into your back ribs. So take a big breath in and see if you can sense this back of the ribs moving with your breath. Then keep that rounding of your back, just sway from one side to the other as you stretch more into the side ribs. Holding center, just level out the spine. You're going to take the right foot to extend back behind you. Just press back into that heel. Just feel the calf stretch gently. Then take that knee to the ground and just switch sides. So lengthen the left foot back, press back into the heel. And then take the knee to the ground. From here, we're coming into a downward facing dog. So take a deep bend into the knees as you're lifting the hips up. So we stay kind of squatting into the legs. Press into the hands so you feel the chest reach back from the thighs. Keep that deep squat for the legs. So when we have a bend in the knees, it enables us to find more length, excuse me, and height through the lower back. So think about your tailbone and sit bones trying to reach up towards the ceiling. From here, just slowly start paddling the feet. So bend one knee as you straighten the other. Do it nice and slowly. Work through the feet, getting a stretch as well. When you have a bend in your right knee, hold there. So your left leg is straightening. Press the left heel towards the floor as your tailbone starts to tip up towards the ceiling a little bit further. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, change legs. So the left leg is bent, right leg straightens. You press down through the right heel as your tailbone tips up. Maybe feeling a little bit of heat come around the shoulders now as well. Make sure the neck is staying nice and relaxed. Soft bend in both knees. See if you can step the right foot through between the hands, so you can lift it through if you need to, and place the back knee to the floor. So we're just going to come into a lunge. So come into more of a box-shaped lunge, so your back knee is kind of underneath the line of your hip, and the front leg is looking like fairly square as well, so your ankle is underneath your knee. Just bring the hands to rest onto the front thigh. Tuck the tailbone under, so pull the lower belly in, and the pubic bone pressing forwards towards the front heel. Press down through the shoelace bit of your back foot. So this foot is pushing down into the ground. So hopefully we're feeling a bit of an opening or a bit of a stretch across the front of your hip here, your hip flexor. Just holding into that, soften everything else around it. So if you notice, again, your neck, your shoulders, your forehead start to tense up. Just try and let that go. Tensing up your shoulders does not make you more flexible. Feel that full breath moving into lower belly, side ribs, and back ribs. From here, just going to take your left hand to reach out to the side of you as you drop your head across towards the right shoulder. So left hand reaching out to the side, head dropping down to the right. So we're bringing a neck stretch into this as well. With this outstretched left hand, stretch the fingers open as wide as you can, so the bones of the hand are open. And try and reach the wrist further away from the torso. So you can adjust where your head is or where your hand is until you kind of feel that peak line of the stretch. Particularly at the moment, if you've been holding anxiety or tension, you'll probably feel this is pretty tight through the neckline. So take a good little couple of breaths through there. So if your outstretched palm is facing down, then turn it up to face the ceiling. So just see how that alters the line of the stretch. You might feel that kind of pull, more of a nervy feeling through it. Like stretch into your fingers if you're feeling particularly tight. Relax the jaw into it. As you next exhale, just release that arm. Take the hands down to the inside of your front foot. So front foot is just going to heel toe open towards the edge of the mat a little bit further, and send the back knee further away from you. So come into lizard stretch for those that are familiar with that. So front foot wide, back knee further away. You want your hips to stay lower than your chest is in this one. So if you're finding a place where you're feeling pretty rounded, try taking the back knee further away from you and use the hands to help you lift the chest up so your spine wants to stay lengthened in this. For those of you that are a bit more mobile, it might feel a little bit more able to take the hands further forward so your shoulders start to lower. If you want to, you can bring the outer elbow down first, so your left elbow down first. Maybe some of you that are super bendy, you can bring the right elbow in as well. And just let the neck completely soften into it. Just come to the place that feels like a soft stretch for the body rather than a strain or is restricting your breath in any way, creating tension in the body. Find the place where your body can soften into. Sometimes it feels nice to just keep the hips slightly rocking in this one. So a really nice way, again, as I mentioned, if your body starts to tense up in a stretch, is just to softly move through it a little bit for a couple of breaths. Just kind of getting that somatic feeling through. So from here, if you're on the forearms, come back onto the palms. So you're lifting up your chest. Pick up just come back into an all fours position actually from there. So just slide that front foot back, just give the hips a little rest. Take both knees as wide as your mat and come into a child's pose so the hips fold back towards your heels. Take the arms either out in front of you or underneath your forehead and just let the body slow down, or the breath slow down again. Soften anything away from your shoulders or through your forehead. Come back to that feeling of your exhalation being longer than your inhale. After your following round of breath, just take the arms back out in front of you again. We can come back into that downward facing dog. So rock forwards, tuck the toes and lift the hips back up again. So again, maybe keeping that deeper bend in the knees so your back gets a bit of lengthening and stretch, or you can straighten out the legs a little bit as well, just wherever you kind of want to be. Keep it moving or keep it static. Let's just hold here and take 3 long breaths, whether you're moving or staying still. So take a full breath in. And a full breath out. Inhale for 2. Exhale. Try and relax your neck. Inhale for 3. Exhale. Okay, so from here, we're just going to set the left foot through. You can lift it through if we need to. So if it doesn't quite meet between the hands, use the same hand to give it a yoga plank, I call it. Back knee to the floor, so you find that more square feeling of the lunge again, so your hips are above the back knee. Bring the hands onto the front thigh. Okay, so have a sense of your back foot pushing down into the floor, slightly tucking the tailbone under, so belly scoops in, and then sink pubic bone towards the front heel. When you're feeling that stretch across the front of your right hip, your hip flexor, just holding there. staying in the lunge, bringing the neck release on this side. So your right hand is just going to reach out to the side of you, and your head drops over towards the left shoulder. So again, keep the right palm for now facing the floor. Just stretch the fingers open and really let your head just drop down towards that left side, like your head has fallen asleep. Let the jaw relax into it, let the eye line relax. Again, you can alter where your head is angled or where your arm is reaching to, so that you feel that stretch across that kind of sweet spot at the side of the neck that you need it to be. And then try turning that right palm to face up to the ceiling instead, to see if it brings a different feeling through the line that you're feeling it through. Maybe through that nervy feeling through your arm. And then just releasing that neck stretch, bringing both hands down to the inside of your front foot, so we come into lizard. So heel toe your front foot open a little bit wider towards the edge of the mat, and send the back knee further away. So remember, we want to take out that feeling of feeling hunched into the pose. So take the back knee further away, allows your spine to create a little bit more length. Palms either stay on the ground under the shoulders, or maybe we walk them forwards so that your shoulders lower down towards the line of your knee. From there, to take it deeper, we maybe take the outer elbow to the floor, so right elbow will come to the ground, maybe left as well, maybe not, so maybe just decide while your body can still breathe softly and fully. You decide. Allow that soft movement to come into the hips if that feels good. So if you're on your forearms, come back onto the palms, lift yourself back up again. And again, slide back into an all fours position. So just take this foot around and give the hips a bit of a wiggle. So this time, rather than a child's pose, you're going to come into a puppy stretch. So keep your hips above the line of the knees. You're going to walk your hands forwards and allow the forehead to sink down through the arms to rest into the floor. We're aiming to keep the elbows floating here, but think about your armpits trying to come to the ground. So you feel that stretch around the shoulders and the chest. To make this slightly softer, try taking the hands wider, maybe a little bend into the elbows. To make this slightly deeper, for those of you who are more mobile through shoulders, take the hands closer together, and maybe even come onto the fingertips of the hands so the wrists lift up, so that your chest and your forehead has further to sink. Feel the breath move really wide into the ribs. On your next exhale, press through the hands, lift yourself back into an all fours position again. Bring the hands under the line of the shoulders. So from here, we're just going to take a pigeon stretch. I know some of you are already moaning at that. So lift up into your downward dog again. This is a transition. We're going to bring the right leg forward, so your knee comes behind the right wrist and the foot comes towards the left of your mat. So knee towards the right, foot to the left. Send your back leg away from you. If you want to place a cushion or anything underneath your right thigh, you can do. If you feel that your pelvis is kind of floating and it feels a bit more supportive, do prop up your right thigh, it's completely fine. Then you bring yourself onto the forearms. Stay pressing into the elbows and just let your head hang in. So again, the back of the neck gets a bit of lengthening from here as well. To make this slightly deeper into the hip stretch, you can bring this underneath foot further forwards, so the shin comes more parallel to the top line of the mat. If that feels any pinching into your knee, please keep that tucked in. Those of you with any knee injuries, you can take this just in parallel, so the heel is underneath the right side of the right buttock, just to get a bit of release through the hip. Otherwise, pigeon, slightly turned out as far as you want to take it. So if you're still holding, make sure you're still breathing. We're bringing 2 variations to pigeon today. So we're going to take the twist away from the knee to start with. So you're going to just walk your hands over to the left side of your mat and lengthen them away from you. So ideally, the full expression of this pose, the heel, it will be underneath the breastbone. So if your foot is forwards enough, you will lie the chest into the foot. Maybe the foot is in towards your belly if it's slightly tucked in. Maybe the heel is underneath the groin, which is fine too. Just reach the hands over to the left. And make sure the neck stays soft and the forehead stays soft. Coming back through the center, and then we take the twist towards the knee. So your left forearm is going to come parallel to the top line of your mat, and your right hand next to the knee. So just turn the shoulders to face the right side of your mat. So you're encouraging your left hip bone to squeeze towards the heel underneath it. Let the gaze turn back over towards your right shoulder, and feel the breath still moving fully, completely into the torso, belly, ribs, and back. Unravel the twist. Okay, just bring the hands under the shoulders and lift up the chest. Tuck the toes at the back and slide back either to all fours or to your downward facing dog. Give that knee a little stretch out. Other side, so bring the left knee forward, so knee is behind the left wrist and the foot comes towards the right. Send the back leg away from you. Again, you can prop up your left thigh here if there's a gap underneath that wants a little bit of support. Sitting onto a cushion or a book or something is fine. Bring the forearms to the ground, so elbows are under the shoulders, and then let your head just sink into it. Feel the breath still moving into lower belly. So variation of pigeon, twisting away from the knee. So walking both hands over to the right. Again, maybe foot is under the breastbone, foot is under the belly, or foot is under the groin is fine. Let's take the hands over to the right. Let the head sink in. Take the second variation, so you twist towards the knee. So right forearm is going to come parallel to the top line of the mat, and your left hand is next to the knee. Turn the shoulders towards the left side of your mat. So you feel your hip bone, your right hip, so squeeze towards the heel underneath it. So your gaze rotates over that left shoulder. Slowly unravel the shoulders, bring the hands underneath you and slide back again into a downward facing dog. Give the legs a little bit of a stretch out. Okay, holding your downward dog, take 2 big deep breaths. So this time on these next 2 breaths, we're going to sigh through the mouth and let your face have a bit of a stretch out with this sighing out as well. So take a deep full breath in and then really let it go. Again, a deep breath in and let it go. Obviously, if you're breathing through your mouth, do make sure you Dettol anything that you've breathed onto in current times. Bring the knees down to the floor so you come back into all fours. And then you can come onto your backs again, any way that you feel good to get there. Okay, we'll just do a last little quick section with your straps. So have your straps handy. Again, we'll start with the right side. So bring your right foot into the strap as you lengthen it up to the ceiling, like we did earlier. Take the strap to wrap around your hands once you have hold of either side of it, and just allow your elbows to drop down into the waistline. Bring this foot towards you. So again, you're aiming to get this little bit of a deeper feeling through the hamstring this time. Your left foot can either stay bent or reach out, as we did earlier. Feel the breath still coming into your belly. Pressing the tailbone down, pushing up through the heel and curl the big toe back towards you so the toes feel fairly active. Soften your neck, your jaw, your forehead. So just a slight nudge of this leg. Think about the ankle coming towards your left shoulder. So just take the leg far enough before the right side of your bum wants to leave the mat. So keep the right side of your pelvis pressing down as your foot reaches slightly towards the left. It might not feel very nice in there when you have it. Then you can alter however you're holding the strap to help you. We're going to then let the right side of your bum leave the mat, so you come more into a twist, so the sole of the foot will reach over to the left side of the room. Take your left elbow to the floor to help support this as well. Try and keep the shoulders grounded. So again, just take the foot far enough before your shoulders start to roll over as well. Keep the right arm reaching out to the side. Kick out through the heel of the right foot and keep that big toe curling back towards you. Whew. Take a deep breath. Take a little bend into the knee as you bring it back to the center. Come back onto your back again. Take your left foot into the strap so that you have both feet in there. And again, just make sure you have your hands wrapped around either side of it. A little bend in the knees if that helps you feel a little bit more comfortable in here. So you create just a kind of little hammock for your feet to rest into. Just taking a couple of breaths into this. So if you suffer from lower back tightness, really nice release for it is just to have your feet up on a wall or using your straps to kind of support the feet here as we are now. Just allowing the weight of your legs to drop into your back. Just let your whole back feel really grounded and really supported by the floor. Okay, so then keeping your left foot in the hoop, just release your right one away from it, either keeping the knee bent or you lengthen it away. So working to feel this hamstring at the back of the left thigh. A little bend in the knee if it's pulling too tightly at the back of your knee. Pushing up through the heel and curl the big toe back towards you. Then notice if your shoulders or your jaw or your forehead have started to get a bit pissed off with you. Soften into them. So that slight variation with your leg, you're bringing your ankle towards your right shoulder. For now, keep the left side of your bum on the ground. So it's just a slight nudge of the leg going over. Just hitting into your IT band a little bit further, which gets really tight. You might be able to acknowledge that. And then you can change the hold of the strap if we need to. Right elbow to the floor as you take the foot all the way over. So let that left side of your bum leave the floor now. You might need to wriggle yourself away from props around you. So kick out through that left heel, curl the big toe back towards you, but keep this left shoulder grounded. So reach the arm away, maybe allowing your head to turn towards the left as well. So again, you've got that spiral through your spine that we had at the start. Make sure you're breathing really fully through the whole of the torso and not just into your chest. And then a little bend in the knee as you bring the leg back up to the center. So just release the strap down to one side. Take a bend in both knees so feet are on the ground. Just give your knees a gentle rock from one side to the other. From here, either staying in a Shavasana, which is on the ground, you can lengthen the legs out flat, so you can starfish yourself as wide as you want to be, and you're grabbing the floor. Just tuck the shoulder blades down your back and keep the chest open. So I'm going to stay just for another few minutes, just in more of a meditation. So you can either stay on the ground, or if you want to come to seated and do this seated, then just take a moment to get yourself comfortable. Whenever you're settled, just take a full flush of breath, so a nice deep inhalation, and then let that just fall out of the body. So finding the breath coming through the nose, just you're paying attention to it again, this subconscious thing that happens through the body all the time, just giving it a moment of recognition. So noticing how your body in a physical sense is feeling now to how it did at the start of the practice when we checked in with it to start with. Noticing any of those physical tensions that you wanted to take care of or let go of. How are they feeling? Take note of how you're feeling on an emotional sense, or an energetic or spiritual sense. Again, just acknowledging any shifts. I'm just going to read to you a piece of writing or a poem that I actually came across a few years ago, that's just one of those things that really stuck with me, I suppose. Watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, for they become your habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. So watch your thoughts. I think that's really a profound message, as I mentioned at the start of the session, about everything coming from a place of love or from fear. Actually just watching your thoughts, and it's okay if we are in a place of fear or in love or whatever variations of that comes to us. But just having the acknowledgement and moving from a place of awareness through those choices and our actions and our reactions. It all starts from our thoughts. So be really mindful. 3 key words that I find most poignant, or as a kind of moral structure for myself, is strength, grace, and gratitude. May you be with strength, may you move with grace, and may you have gratitude. So while we watch our thoughts, I'll just invite you to close this practice, bringing to mind just one thing, whatever first comes into your head, just one thing that you can feel grateful for today. Let that feeling of gratitude resonate around your thoughts, and I hope it moves with your actions through the rest of the day. I'll leave you to stay in a Shavasana or meditation as long as you wish to. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.